It's so nice to be here. You know, we've never been here. It's taken us, 21 years to get here. Look what we've been missing. It's just a beautiful day. How do you say it? Gdańsk? Gdańsk? Is that it?
Yeah. What did you do?
Yeah, that's a bit trickier. We had an amazing year last year. I thought, you know, we really, it was 15 years of doing Blur non-stop, and then we sort of stopped doing it for a while. It was what happens with all bands. And then we got back together in 2009, did some amazing gigs in that year, and we sort of thought that might be a good place to leave it. But then last year, we were asked to do a big show to mark the closing of the Olympics in London, and we all thought, well, we can't say no to that. And we just enjoyed it so much. We won a Brit Award last year and repackaged our whole catalogue, remastered everything, and played that amazing show. And we just thought, you know, we recorded a couple of new songs as well, and it was just like, what the hell? Let's go to some places we've never been before, and really just to say thank you to everybody for being so patient and supportive. It's amazing, really, that Blur still lives and breathes, and, you know, splitting up was the best thing we ever did. I only realised how much I missed it when I started doing it again, because I got married at the exact point that Blur sort of fell to pieces, and I've got 5 children now, so I live on a farm making cheese, and cheese has always been something that I loved, and I just got completely sidetracked doing that, and then suddenly it all started again. Because when we got back together in 2009, we'd never really done any big gigs before, and we put a big show in Hyde Park on sale, just as a punt, really. We didn't know we could fill it, and the tickets went on sale at 9 a.m, and my phone rang at 2 minutes past 9, and it was Blur's manager saying it's sold out, and I cried. You know, I was really surprised that the music had endured, and it's amazing with these shows that we've done a few festivals around the world so far this year. We've been in Asia, in Hong Kong, in Jakarta, and in Primavera, and not many, like a dozen shows or something. But looking at the audience, it's not people our age, it's young people, it's new people who weren't born when we existed. I think music has changed a lot. I think a band like Blur would really struggle today, about a left field art school kind of band like Blur. It's really the sort of popular music. I love a lot of what's around at the moment, but it's a bit like it's the same, similar to farming. Like, the big farms are getting bigger and the small ones are disappearing, and that's what's happening with bands. Like, Rihanna is enormous, and Lady Gaga, and like all the biggest selling artists in the world today are like bigger than anyone's ever been ever. But there's a lot less kind of small bands. You can't really be in a small band, and it's all, you're either enormous or you're unsigned and hopeless. I do a food and music festival on the farm with Jamie Oliver, and I got together to do a food and music event on the farm. So I have to be on top of new music's very much a part of that. And I've really rediscovered. I didn't listen to pop music when I got married. When Blur split up, I stopped listening to pop music for a while. I started listening to classical music, actually, moving to the country. Like, suddenly Chopin or Beethoven suddenly I suddenly found it really, the sound of French horns was something that I really began to enjoy. But then as my kids started listening to pop music, I sort of rediscovered it again, listening to the radio with them. And when I was a kid, I listened to, I don't know, the Beatles, I guess, were the first band I ever really studied, like most people my age. But then when it got to the point where I listened to the Beatles, and I just knew it all so well, I wasn't really getting anything from it anymore. So I started listening to the people that influenced them, like Roy Orbison, and now I'm listening to the people who influenced him. I've sort of gone sort of further back in time, so listening to the people that influence me. Music is like maths or literature or cooking. It doesn't really get any better or worse or more or less sophisticated. It just reflects the times that we live in. Music does that, but I do think the late 60s, the mid 60s to the mid 90s was a golden age for music. So there was just when I was young, there was just so many different kinds of music. You know, there was Duran Duran spending £1 million on videos at one end, and Crispy Ambulance and Half Man Half Biscuit selling 300 copies of an EP each week. There was just so many different kind of things going on, and I think, you know, as I was saying, small band. There's not as many small bands now. That's a shame. But you know, music is a you know, I've learned just that you don't have to be playing music to thousands of people for it to make you feel amazing. You know, I get a huge amount of pleasure from singing to my children and playing with my children, you know, or even on my own. You know, it's somewhere to go. It's a lovely thing to have in your life.